Hello everyone, this is episode number 3 of the Moving Forward podcast. I'm here with Andy. Andy, how are you today?
Really good, Barbie. Feels like this is becoming habitual, isn't it? 3 weeks in a row. It's good fun, and I really enjoy these chats.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And today, I would like to learn from you about cybersecurity. You've been in this field of work for years, and you're sitting at the edge of innovation of technology. How do you stay on top of the latest updates? Really, something I would like to know. Things are moving so quickly. How do you keep up?
Great question, actually, to start with. So just for absolute clarity, I'm certainly not a cyber security expert by
Mm,
any stretch of the imagination. However, like all of us, we need to be cyber aware and cyber savvy. And I guess for someone like myself who works very closely with large organisations and government organisations, keeping up to speed and on top of what's actually happening across the cyber risk landscape is really important. And so, fortunately, I'm surrounded by some many great minds who are highly technical and very clever. And so they certainly give us that insight every single day to what's happening. But most importantly, for my go-to information source would be the Australian Cybersecurity Centre. And in collaboration with the Australian Signals Directorate, their portal, the Australian government site, gives you plenty of information. It's got news, programs,
oh,
information about current threats, etc. And then if you happen to find yourself in a situation where you've been breached,
mm,
you obviously are going to have to work with them, one, around your notifiable data breach situation,
hmm
and two, to potentially seek some help and support as well. So that's my number one go-to. And then to be fair to say, there's plenty of information out there that's available. And I guess sifting through that is difficult. So
yeah.
look for ones that have been putting out information for years on a regular basis. Verizon's Data Breach Investigation Report is an absolutely fantastic source of information. It's become an industry Bible of sorts. And
hmm
it's put out every year, somewhere around May, June each year. So obviously one's due. There's all of the major consultancy do it. And then we've got CyberOz and other organisations. So it's not difficult to find information,
hmm
but staying on top of what actually is happening can sometimes get confusing. So best way to do that, take your head out and talk cyber openly. There's
That's
lots to learn.
That's awesome. That's a lot of sources over there. One of the tools that I like to use is Feedly, which it's an you can have it on the website or it's an application on your phone. It allows me to specify a number of sources, which would be helpful after listening to you to get those sources in. And it presents a feed from all of those different sources. It's my way of keeping up to date with the latest security breaches or the latest malware hitting businesses. But as you said, you have the privilege of interacting on a daily basis with top experts in cybersecurity and networking. You interact. Some of the people that I work with as well are CCIE certified network engineers, cyber crimes forensics investigators. Tier 3 engineers working in security operations centers. Can you tell us what are the threats that they're worried about?
Wow. I'm not sure that I can get inside their mind and tell you exactly. However, look, it's fair to say the things that really concern us the most is data privacy,
hmm
and it's really topical that we're having a moving forward session on cyber this week, being the Privacy Awareness Week as well. And so privacy awareness is all about, keeping yourself safe online as well as respecting others, other people's privacy online as well.
hmm
And so whenever you're breached, a loss of confidential information as it relates to identity in particular is always a major concern. And quite often then the threats around that are escalated with regards to obviously been able to use that in a
Mm,
harmful manner, so causing harm uh, to individuals or organisations as well. So um, I guess it's not a true answer in terms of what actually keeps you up at night from a threat perspective, but
mm,
losing confidential information, being exfiltrated with regards to information pertaining to individuals and their identity, their lifestyle, their persona is something that no one wants to see happen. So there are many ways it happens, but that's the key focus, is to keep everyone safe online.
yeah. And you've worked with many companies that are trying to secure their networks, but you've also worked with companies that have been infiltrated and are trying to mitigate the damage. We hear about this on the news all the time. We've seen, recently, if we want to talk, Toll's operations being disrupted greatly by a cyber hack. If we talk a little bit back in the history, in 2005, we noticed companies like Codan losing millions of dollars because um, a hack stole the blueprints for their metal detectors and they started reproducing them in China. So, and we've noticed the Australian Cybersecurity Center issuing an advisory about an limited malware campaign. What are the what are these companies doing wrong that's putting them in risk, and what are the things that other companies are doing that's keeping them safe?
Yeah, look, it's a great point. And I guess best practice is learnt by sharing. And I think what I've noticed, more importantly, to try and answer this fairly open question that you've posed, is that um, cybersecurity is it's most effective when we're all aware. Something like 30% plus of all breaches
Yeah.
are a result of human error. Okay, be it malicious or not, and so or intentional or not, should I say? So therefore, being educated and being aware and sharing the mistakes that you make when it comes to obviously building your organisation and trying to secure them. And when somebody finds a back door that's open and gets in and breaches, you've
Mm,
been able to investigate that and share that so it's common knowledge so that we can all develop better or best practice. I think that's the first thing. So having a culture of cyber awareness is absolutely critical. This is not a head in the sand situation. And it'd be fair to say that, as you noted, this is a very fast moving environment. There's lots of new
yeah.
threat vectors popping up all the time. And they're being replayed from old types to new creations, etc. And so it's a bit like neighbourhood watch.
Yeah.
If you're looking out for your neighbour, there's a strong likelihood that you're going to be okay. So I think that's the key thing. First and foremost, it's awareness and awareness across your entire organisation. It
Mm,
is also really important to fight cyber with the latest intelligence. And what we've seen as a really big trend, particularly over the last sort of 12 to 18 months,
yeah.
is a move to tooling that allows us to have a live or real time or very near real time insight into the threat landscape
Hmm.
or the possible vulnerabilities impacting our corporate systems, our businesses, etc.
Yeah.
So if you can move to that and stop relying on retrospective business security assessments and things like that to drive your strategy,
Mm.
you're going to have a far greater chance of shutting the front door, as I like to say.
Yeah. So the message that I'm getting there is really it's just staying in touch with the people that do this in a professional manner and just uh, being involved in the culture of cybersecurity experts. And I would assume in an environment that's of constant learning and innovation, you need people that are that have dedicated their life to something that's especially changing as quickly as cybersecurity. So, what are the habits that you find important for someone that wants to succeed in this field to have?
Number one, be inquisitive.
Hmm.
Really tune
Yeah,
in to your environment, listen to your environment, um, and the old adage, there's no dumb question. Ask if you don't know.
yeah,
There's lots of acronyms in this field as well, and they're very, very confusing from time to time. And so always seek clarity. And so if you're not sure, take the time to investigate. If something doesn't look right, don't click it. It's as really as
Yeah,
simple as that, right?
yeah.
So have that intuitive mind, have that cautious mind. I like to think that this space is cybersecurity is a bit like physical security,
Mm.
and you know, if you're going to go away for the weekend, we all know, we turn off the power switches, we might set timers on our lights, we close the front door, we lock the windows, we put the bars up, and all those sorts of things. Cybersecurity is just like that, right? You have to be proactive about it. You have to be aware, and if you can, install surveillance systems so that you can actually monitor it, it's even better.
Yeah.
So, being successful in this field is anyone can do it as long as you've got an inquisitive mind, and you're prepared to ask questions.
That was good, great insights, Andy. Thank you very much. You've been in this field for years, and definitely your experience is and sharing that with us is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, Andy, for being with us. Episode 3 of Moving Forward podcast. Thank you everyone for listening. Have a great day.
Ple- Pleasure chatting. Thank you, Robbie.
Thanks, Andy. Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye, everyone.